YM YM
ES
ES
NQ
ES E YM ES YM NQ
NQ
NQ NQ
ES ES
NQ ES ES ES
ES
ES ES
ES
ES YM NQ ES 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 YM 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 NQ
ES
NQ ES NQ 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 NQ
ES
ES, ES,
ES, NQ,
NQ,
YM, YM,
Nothing yet seen from Fed's Kaplan, although desk is on the lookout. We'll also note in 10
YM.
minutes' time, ECB's Mersch is due to be speaking. We've seen an early release from Mersch actually just now. It says we would not need to make up the use of the full PEP envelope if the GC were to assess that the market tensions had eased sufficiently. It says we are mindful that the size of the ECB's balance sheet, the significant stock of acquired assets and reinvestments of maturing principal payments can have implications for market functioning and price formation. ECB's Mersch says the PEP program must remain a temporary crisis instrument and says the sheer size of the PEP also goes beyond its primary backstop function by providing additional support to the monetary
ES.
policy
ES.
stance. ECB's Mersch says we would not need to make use of the full PEP envelope if the governing council were to assess that market tensions had eased sufficiently. It's just ECB's Mersch here seems to be putting some caution around the PEP program from the
ES.
ECB. Not much reaction seen across major assets. Those comments will be on the board for those looking into those more detailed.
NQ, NQ, YM,
ES,
NQ,
ES, NQ,
NQ,
YM,
ES,
NQ, YM, ES,
ES, ES,
ES, ES, NQ,
NQ,
ES,
YM, ES,
ES, ES,
ES,
YM, YM, NQ, ES,
NQ, NQ, ES,
Just taking a look at main indices after the US cash equity open. SPX cash, that's opened lower by spot 2% or 6 points at 3044. ES is trading lower at 3032. A lot of attention on the 200 DMA at the 3019, which has hit and did actually fall beneath overnight, although it has found some support on within the last session or two. Looking elsewhere, Nasdaq, that's outperformer, opened just in the green, sitting just north of 10k. On the Russell 2000 future, that's open lower by
NQ,
1 spot,
NQ.
3% or 18 points. Looking across sectors, it's quite a risk-off day with industrials, utilities, energy, materials that leading underperformers.
Order filled.
Or the worst underperformers rather. Meanwhile, tech, health are outperforming. Financials also not doing too badly ahead of a stress test later. Also not seemingly trading off the treasury curve, which is slightly bull flattening again today. 10-year cash down 2 basis points at 66.
NQ,
Order filled.
Meanwhile, crude has just about gone positive in Brent futures, while WTI more or less unchanged on the session now. It was trading quite firmly red earlier. Not too much on the official data slate, although lots of attention now looming on the
YM.
incoming state coronavirus cases. We already had California. We'll be looking out for Florida, which usually reports in around an hour's time, followed later by Arizona and Texas. Are becoming the most important data point of the day this week.
ES, YM, YM,
ES,
YM,
ES,
ES, ES,
ES, NQ, ES,
NQ, ES, YM,
Of note, in Spain, Spain's government agrees with unions and business associations to extend the furlough scheme until September 30th. That's according to Spanish government sources. Spain looking to extend its furlough scheme until September 30th. Also, moving back to the Huawei UK front, piece in Sky News citing Ericsson, the telecoms provider, notes that Ericsson says it can replace all of Huawei's
YM.
equipment in
ES.
UK's 5G
YM.
networks, where Ericsson has said it would be capable of replacing
YM.
all of the equipment if the British government decides to ban the
ES.
Chinese vendor. That's in an exclusive interview with Sky News.
NQ,
does come after earlier reports this morning that
ES.
Huawei had received £1 billion package to
ES.
build a new hub in the UK.
NQ,
NQ. NQ. NQ.
ES, ES,
Seen comments from ECB's not says there's now a glimmer of beginning of a recovery. ECB's not says recent data solidifies confidence in the ECB's baseline scenario. Sponsoring some comments from ECB's not.
NQ,
Seen a bit of downside in equity futures in recent trade. Nothing too out of the recent ranges, although some of the recent risk pickup does seem to be pairing somewhat.
ES,
NQ.
YM,
It's also worth keeping eyes on cable. That does continue, is making new session lows now. Has moved beneath the 124 handle.
ES, ES,
Euro sterling is also coming off recent lows. And as a reminder, do have 1.6 billion rolling off in euro dollar today. That's at the 112 handle. Do seem to be
ES.
within spitting distance of that.
NQ, YM,
ES has now fallen beneath that 200 DMA at 309.10.
Order filled.
YM, NQ, ES, YM, ES, YM,
Order filled.
NQ.
YM, 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 ES, NQ, NQ, YM, NQ,
NQ,
ES, YM, ES, YM,
NQ, NQ,
ES,
ES,
YM, YM, ES,
ES,
YM,
NQ,
YM,
NQ,
YM, YM,
ES, NQ,
YM, YM, ES, NQ, ES, YM,
NQ,
Just seeing the latest Bank of England offer to cover 2.77 times in the 20-year plus gilt repurchases. That's down slightly from the prior 2.94 times. As for the 20-year plus gilt purchases, offer to cover 2.77 times for a total
NQ,
of
NQ.
£1.15 billion worth.
YM,
ES,
YM, YM, YM,
These losses in equity futures do seem to be
ES,
sustaining a bit further now. Overnight low for ES was 3005. We're at
YM.
3014 right now. Worth keeping that on your radar as we do begin to test that. And
ES.
finally, now
YM.
we've seen the UK coronavirus daily figures. Deaths rise by 149 to 43,230, and positive cases rise by 1,118 to 307,980. Do note that we've had a few
YM.
sessions of sub 1,000 readings for new positive cases out of the UK, so that's a reversion of that trend rather. Yesterday, cases rose by
YM.
653. Again, today, rise 1,118.
ES,
ES.
YM, ES,
NQ. ES. ES. ES.
YM,
ES.
YM, YM,
ES. 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 ES.
NQ, YM, YM,
NQ.
ES, ES YM
ES
and Q
ES
and
ES
YM YM
ES
YM
ES
YM and Q ES YM ES
ES
YM YM YM
ES and Q
YM YM YM
ES
ES
and Q ES
YM and Q
ES
YM and Q YM
ES
YM ES ES ES
ES
ES
ES
YM
and Q
YM
ES
YM ES YM
and Q
YM ES ES
ES
and Q
Just seen from Freddie Mac, the latest weekly 30-year fixed rate mortgages at 3.13% on the June 25th week. That's in line with the prior 3.313% on the prior week, which comments from Freddie Mac on a US 30-year fixed rate mortgages, 3.13%.
ES. YM.
Well, seen here that banks are reportedly getting an easier Volcker rule and a
ES.
40 billion US dollar reprieve on swaps. Just seeing latest reports here, banks get an easier Volcker rule and a
ES.
40 billion US dollar reprieve on swaps. No further details just as of yet. However, this does
ES.
come ahead of the Fed stress
YM.
test due to be reported at 4:30
YM.
Eastern Time today after the close.
YM. ES.
Order filled.
YM. ES. ES. YM. ES.
and Q,
YM.
Order filled.
ES.
Just a bit further on that. As banks in the US do get an easier Volcker rule and 40 billion US dollar reprieve on swaps. But the OCC reportedly approves the overhaul of the two rules, with the FDIC set to follow, which would be another win for
YM.
the banking industry under
YM.
deregulation under the Trump administration. I do believe this is separate to the Fed
ES.
stress test. It is to be released later this evening. Do note financials are faring quite well today.
YM. YM.
The XLF
YM.
ETF, that's up 1%, with Wells Fargo up 2.5%. That does come after yesterday, where they suffered some heavy losses in what analysts called anticipation of the stress test.
and Q,
Order filled.
YM.
and Q,
And just flagging in case there's any follow through, US Supreme Court rules in favour of the Trump
ES.
administration in the dispute over the court's power to review the rapid deportation cases. It's just Trump administration
ES.
having the Supreme Court rule in favour it
YM.
over immigration.
ES,
Order filled.
YM.
and Q,
Just so
YM.
you're aware, it does appear Fed's cap plan is starting to speak now. It does say US economic performance hinges on the healthcare response.
and Q, ES, ES,
and Q,
ES.
and Q,
YM.
ES,
YM. ES. YM.
NQ,
ES,
NQ,
YM,
NQ,
YM,
NQ,
NQ, ES,
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 YM,
NQ, ES,
YM,
ES,
NQ,
Just looking at equity futures in the US, I've seen ES fail to break overnight lows back to the 330 region. Also, I've just seen a pickup now in the crude complex amid the bounce back in equities, or pairing of losses rather. While both WTI and Brent up around spot 7%
ES.
or 30 cents on the barrel.
ES,
ES,
Euro dollar after that OPEX just has been gravitating somewhat higher, very, very marginally.
YM,
And of course, Florida cases loom due around the bottom of the hour. And we'll be looking out
YM.
afterwards for hospitalizations out of Texas, as well as any potential Arizona cases.
ES, ES,
NQ,
YM, ES, ES,
NQ,
ES, NQ, YM,
ES,
YM, YM, ES, NQ,
NQ,
ES,
ES,
YM,
ES,
YM,
NQ,
NQ,
ES,
NQ,
ES,
NQ, ES, ES,
Order
YM,
filled.
ES, NQ,
Order filled.
NQ,
ES,
YM,
And Norway, they have lifted.
NQ,
Norway is to no longer allow
ES,
travel to and from
YM,
the Swedish island of Gotland. And travel to all of Sweden is now restricted for Norwegians, according to a document. So just one thing to be aware of there for anyone who watches the Scandies.
NQ,
YM,
ES,
YM, ES,
Order filled.
NQ,
According to New York City Mayor, New York City is on track to commence phase 3 of the reopening as of July the 6th. According to the New York Mayor.
NQ, ES,
ES,
And just a reminder, part of that does include indoor dining.
NQ,
Not sure on the specifics, but just seen the US have issued a fresh round of Iranian-related sanctions, according to the US Treasury Department website. Just looking out for any specifics as to what exactly this does entail.
NQ,
ES ES
Order filled.
So in terms of those sanctions, the latest US sanctions on Iran are targeting 8 firms, including steel and other metal companies.
ES
According to reports, the Texas governor has suspended elective surgeries in its largest city.
NQ NQ
So hospitalizations have been a key
YM.
issue for Texas over the
ES.
past few days. Now seeing that the Texas governor has suspended elective surgeries in the largest
YM.
cities within the state.
ES,
ES
ES,
ES
ES, NQ, ES, ES,
ES,
YM, YM, NQ, ES, YM, NQ, YM,
NQ
ES,
YM,
He's noting some remarks here from Fed Kaplan. He says that corporate debt has been an
Thank you.
amplifier in the crisis, and he is concerned about government debt. So some remarks here from Fed Kaplan.
NQ,
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 YM,
NQ, NQ, ES,
So still look out for official confirmation, but reports just suggesting that hospitalizations in Texas, they have risen 8% to
ES,
4,739. So that's an 8% increase. That'll be